Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and this is the second part of a little small series that I wanted to do on how I can travel and afford to travel and be on the road. So in that last video I mentioned I had two long-term career jobs. One, an aerospace inspector basically at a fastener company, and I later moved to Oregon, so I had to change career. So that move to Oregon gave me the opportunity to seek another career. So I ended up getting into dog grooming and later dog training. So we're going to get into this next part, how I'm able to afford to do what I'm doing. All right, let's get started. Thought I would bring Milo in here so he can kind of join along in the story. So in that job where I was training and doing the grooming, and I was there for the 18 years, it happened to be a company that ended up having a 401k. So I was truly lucky and blessed to be able to take advantage of that program. Now, I didn't do it the whole time I was there, but I'm glad I got smart enough to start to think about my future and start putting some money away. Because I started to think, well, you know, they're going to match whatever I put in. It was 50 cents to every dollar that I put in, up to 6% is what they were doing. I was lucky to be able to be a full-time employee because not all companies in the retail business accept a lot of full-time employees, usually management, and that's about it. But lucky they did allow their head dog trainer or a lead person, that they did allow them to have full-time positions. I don't know if they are still doing that, because a lot of things have changed as time has gone on, which is sad. Those positions have been eliminated. It was a great opportunity. I was able to take advantage of a 401k program. So I did that, and no matter what, I made a priority to start paying myself first, okay? So that was huge. Sometimes I didn't always do the 10 or 15%, but I at least made sure I put in that minimum of 6% that I knew that they would match up to, because if I didn't, that was a loss of money, right? I didn't want to lose that at any point in time. Even when 9/11 happened, everything crashed in the market. I didn't get a raise for the last 6 years of my employment there. I got into a pay freeze. They consider me one of their top highest paid employees because I had been with the company at that time for so long. So I really got in a situation, and times got tough before I ended up selling my house, but I still made sure that I paid myself first no matter what. I canceled subscriptions to magazines. I started cutting. I made a list. Where could I cut back? What could I eliminate? I stopped eating out at times, doing lots of things. You know, I cut back going to lots of movies to maybe only one movie a month. Whatever it took at that time to make sure that I paid myself first, and made that a priority and not lose whatever that company was going to match me. I don't remember if I only did that for like 10 years of my employment there, but I know it wasn't the full 18 years that I was there by the time I started to contribute. But it's, you know, as they say, it's never too late to start. The sooner you start, the better it's going to be. So I am very lucky that by the time I ended up leaving that company, I was able to have that money tucked away towards my retirement. The other thing is, you know, with 401ks, you cannot touch them until you become 59 and a half, or you pay, you know, penalties and things like that. So I still have that money. I've never touched it. My goal is to not touch that money, hopefully until I'm 65 at least, but 62 minimum, but hopefully not until I'm 65. Okay, so that's the story on that one. Since I can't touch that money, what have I been doing up until that point? So around this time of my story, and if you haven't seen my full story on what happened with my health issues and stuff and what they are in full detail, check out my series called My Story, Don't Give Up series, and I will put a link to that up at the top. I'm not sure which side, I think it might be over here. I'm now having to sell my house. Because I can no longer work a full-time job because of my disabilities that are all mentioned in that Don't Give Up series. My ex-husband and I have already gone our own way. We divorced, but we stayed really good friends. He moved to California, but the year before I had to sell my house, though, he had passed away from stage 4 liver and colon cancer. So I was dealing with that, selling my house, but the good thing is that I had equity in my house. So that gave me what I needed to get me by for the last several years and not have to touch that 401k. Now my goal was to get me to 62, okay? Not ever having to touch that 401k. That is my goal. So I go into a roommate situation. I am currently in a roommate situation that I was put into because I had to quit my job and because of disability, and I had to sell my house. So 2 weeks right before my house was sold, I had no place to go. So finally I found a roommate situation to a wonderful lady who decided to let me come in and stay in her house for a while. So I was very thankful for her. This would be a temporary living situation. Now I have 2 little fur babies that are embarking on my journey with me, and so I'm going to introduce you to them, and they are 2 Brussels Griffons. All right, so come on over here and I'll show you my little fur babies. Now this little guy over here, so this is Milo. He is a smooth Brussels Griffon and he is 8 years old. This one over here, this is Buster, and he is 12 years old, and he has a heart condition, and he also has lungs that fill up with fluid. So my main concern has been for my dogs, and especially him, and keeping him comfortable during this journey, and especially having to sell my house. A van would be very, very helpful to be able to, in a roommate situation, just to be able to have my own personal space, and also maybe to make traveling a little bit easier. And who knew, I was thinking, dreaming, maybe I might be able to go and live in one full time. I don't know, but maybe. So that was kind of running through my mind at that time. I get the van, and I'm thinking I'm getting the van to help me with my 2 little dogs and give us our own little personal space, and use the money from the sale of my house to be able to get me until I'm at least 62 years of age. I was getting my house ready for the market, I knew of an Explorer that was for sale. All right, so here's my my 230 XL Ram Explorer. So there it is, and you'll get more views of it, I'm sure, as time goes on. I traveled a little bit. I decided, you know what? I want to travel full time. When my ex-husband passed away, I just totally realized how short life is. And I wanted to be able to travel, keep me and my dogs together, see some places that I've always wanted to see, use that money that I had, and also be able to protect the savings that I had until I got to 62. And I protect my 401k, not use up all my resources. So this allowed me to do many things. Now, what about SSDI? We're going to talk about that one. Yes, I did try to get SSDI, but that happened more after I went on the road, because at the time that my ex-husband passed away, and I was renewing my driver's license, I found out when you had to bring in proof of your birth that there was no proof of my birth in the state where I was born. They had my sisters, but they didn't have me. And I was like, how in the world does that happen? You know? And I'm scrambling and I'm trying to renew my driver's license because I need that to work, but then I'm also trying to deal with the passing of my ex-husband. I had extensions. I had to hire a lawyer to prove my birth. Lucky I was able to do that and win my driver's license. Sorry, I had to see what he was barking at. Yeah, so I paid $1,500 from the lawyer, won my driver's license with the proof of my birth, but then I realized that I had a long journey ahead of me to get what is called a delayed registration of birth, because at this time on the Social Security website they said in order to file for your SSDI you have to show proof of your birth. Well, that took me a couple years to do that. By that time I'm on the road because the roommate situation didn't work out. I thought, well, I'm just going to go travel and then I could live more cheaply. So after 2 years, I win my delayed registration of birth that I'm told that I have to produce, right? You can't do anything in today's world without the proof of your birth. So I win that. And by that time, I start to file for my SSDI. The problem by that time is I have no home base. It's really hard to continue to see doctors. At that time, they would no longer look at anything of my past because all my MRIs, everything that was done was before the time I lost my job of 2015. So basically it's like everything that existed beyond that point they would not look at. It's like you are building a brand new case by that time. Well, I just couldn't do that. Obviously, I did not want to go through another nerve conductive test. That was a nightmare to go through. I've already put my body through so many MRIs. I did not want to redo that. They practically make you married to doctors and they have to pump you with so much medications where by the time I lost my job, the medications were destroying my liver. When I left there, my stomach looked like I was 5 months pregnant. My feet were swelling up. My liver reading was going high where I said no job is worth dying over. And I even decided as I kept trying to win my SSDI that I am not going to pump myself up with all the medications and everything that's necessary to prove that I am disabled and I can't work. Even my SSDI isn't worth dying over to win and prove my case. I was not able to build what they wanted or required for me to have as their current evidence of my disabilities to win the SSDI. And I wasn't going to go broke in the end to do it either and take all of my life savings, because that's such a gamble and it's so hard. They make it so hard to win SSDI. They really do, which is crazy because some people don't even hardly have any issues, and they go in there and they win it in a heartbeat. So that's a whole nother, you could put your comment down below if you want to over that subject, but it really just gets me so angry that some people can win it when I don't even think that they deserve it, and other people really deserve it and they can't win it. So I just put my fate up above. I just said, okay, I give up. And especially with COVID happening, I was just near the finale when COVID happened, so I didn't end up getting to finish pursuing my case. And I just said, it's not meant to be. I give up. You know, I'm done. The emotional part of it too was also destroying me, and it was making me so unhappy. That's why in the last couple years too of my channel, you started to see my personality change. It was emotionally and physically draining trying to win an SSDI case. So in the end, I just said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But I also ended up learning at the end of last year, I got this gift that I feel from my ex-husband through his death. I call it a gift because I feel like it's him extending from beyond with God's help, helping me. Because I found out at the end of December of last year I could end up filing for survivors benefits. In a separate video, I'm going to end up talking about survivors benefits, because as a divorced person, I had no clue or idea that I could ever be entitled to a survivor's benefits. I thought you had to be currently married to the spouse, because this may not be of interest to everybody out there, especially if you haven't been married to anybody more than 10 years, which I was. Then this isn't going to benefit anybody else out there. But if you were, and especially if you became divorced from somebody like that, then you need to know some things. And I'll have a whole separate video titled and giving information about survivors benefits. And you go through all kinds of, for me, I went through, by the end of last year when I found out I could get survivors benefits, I went through depression. I mean, you would think, oh, wow, well, you know, you're going to get some money. You should be happy. No, because I adored my ex-husband. He was the love of my life. And he was an amazing man, sympathetic, caring, kind, loving. He had so many talents. He had so many people that adored him and loved him. And I was always grieving for so many years over his death and trying to make sense of his death. And then that happened. And then I was trying to question and make sense of it. Why did he have to die? You know, and then to find out that I could get survivors benefits from his death made me even question his death more. Why did God allow this? And did that happen for my benefit? Because I would have traded my life for his in a heartbeat, and God knew that, and that was part of my grief for so many years. because of the kind of person he was and the talents that he had, the amount of people that loved him. So I was already going through so much on my own, dealing with accepting his death, and then to find out that, I grieved. I was just like, how do I make sense of this? I finally had to get to the point where I no longer questioned his death. I mean, sometimes things just happen in life. He got cancer of the colon. We'll never know why. He always said, well, I wish I would have taken better care of myself. I'll never know if those are the reasons why. Genetics, combination of both, but those things happen. We know death is a part of life. I'm going to die, you're going to die. And but I'm going to go into in the next one more for people that get survivor's benefits from someone who died and you adored that person. The emotions and feelings more that you're going to struggle with. But I finally, through the past year, had to make peace of it and let it go. And now I kind of look at it as God and Him continuing to be with me and Him still taking care of me, even though He's not physically here. I had to look at it as a blessing, as a gift, and I've also wanted to look at this money as being able to be a blessing and bless maybe even other people a little bit through my travels with it as well, because that's what He would have wanted. He had a big heart. So anytime I feel there's somebody out there in need that I can bless somebody, I'm going to try to do that. And because I'm getting that, you're able to get it as early as 60 years of age. You don't have to wait until you're older. If you have been declared disabled from the state, then you can get it earlier, early as 50. That is how I'm surviving now as 60 years old, is from a survivor's benefits now, and I can do that as long as I want to and switch over to my Social Security in the future. And that could be when I'm 62, 65. I can wait to my full retirement, 67, before I do that, as long as I can continue to live off the survivor's benefits. So we'll see how the future rolls on that one. It's been a hard ride accepting it, but I had to make peace with it, and I'm thankful for it. And every day I'm thankful, and I just want to be careful with this money, protect it, and I want to use it in a good way too, in honor of Him. That's the best thing that I can do to honor Him. It's my story. That is what sums it up, how I'm able to be on the road and continue and travel, and I just take every day now as a blessing that I am even still alive, because who knows how long we all have on this earth. And even ever since His death, I realized how precious, how short life is, and anybody who's been following my journey for all up to this time knows that I've continued to give that message that life is short. Go after your dreams. Live today. Live every day as if it's your last day if you can, because we have no guarantee of tomorrow. This is the next day, and I got to thinking there's just a few more things that I would like to say. For one, I hope you made it this far. I never meant this video to be this long, but these are topics and this journey to this point that I don't ever want to talk about again on my channel. So I wanted this one video that I can refer people back to on how I'm able to afford living on the road. One of the biggest issues that I have, is I look way younger than my age. So people pop up on my channel and they think I'm a 45-year-old or late 40s, right, or something like that, and I'm 60. And each year, right, I'm almost 62, and I'm retirement age. So I have been ridiculed, judged. They think, I don't know, people in vans are just, we're not human or something, you know? Yeah, and what if I was someone who was down and out? Does that, you know, maybe someone with no money, or they got in this situation because maybe it could be an abusive situation, and so they landed, you know, for safety. There's so many reasons that people can wind up in a van or in a vehicle, and we are just living in such a horrible, judgmental world, you know, especially if someone has a channel, you know. I don't know. I don't want to judge people. I just want to live free, let people live the way they want to live and be free. That's what I want, you know. And, but unfortunately, this comes with a lot of baggage, you know, from other people that throw out so much negativity, but there also is a lot of good out there. And I'm holding on to the good that I believe is still out there in most people. But I just wanted this one video to be done, how me, am supporting myself on the road. And from this moment on, I just want to live out my dreams. You know, Rick was a big dreamer. He would be so happy for what I am doing, living out my dreams. That is so important, and I feel like he's with me, supporting me financially now, emotionally. I just believe, because I know the kind of person he was. I fell in love with photography, and from this moment on, I just want to enjoy my retirement, whatever time I have left out here, and enjoy my peace, my solitude, photography. Whether I continue on YouTube or not, we'll find out. It really just depends. But that is a goal, and then helping people too that I see that need help. Leave that up into God's hands on how I can make that happen. Other than that, I need to let in the past go, heal from the past, not keep reliving it, live in the moment, live for today, and move on forward from this point on. Okay? I've been through a lot in the last several years, and I need it to be behind me. All right? So here we go from this day forward, in loving memory of my ex-husband. Just going to enjoy my retirement. I hope you come along. And I got my bike, baby, my e-bike, my photography, and we'll see what happens in 2021. But I am hopeful that that will be a better year. I'll see you then, everybody. Thanks for your comments and your love, and I'll see you soon.
I guess we're always looking for somebody special, right? Everybody, throughout our past, there's people that you meet for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Is that right? A lot of people we meet, we can very well make them into a lifetime. But people come into our lives all the time, and all we get to do is just accept the fact that we're here to help. And this is what we're doing here. We're just helping. And we're just funneling all this great energy, these great feelings into something we'll always remember. So, you know, you look at the person across from you, and this is somebody you're going to see for quite a long time.